Hello, my name is Tim Kovach, and I'm the Decarbonization Strategist with the Mayor's Office of Sustainability and Climate Justice at the City of Cleveland. The City of Cleveland has published our updated Climate Action Plan, or CAP. This detailed plan provides a roadmap to help Cleveland reduce pollution, create jobs, and protect our communities from climate hazards. Rooted in community engagement, the CAP brings residents, businesses, and partners together to work towards net zero emissions of climate pollution. One of the questions that we heard throughout the CAP development process was how would we keep the community updated on the implementation of this plan? To address this question, we have partnered with ICLEI USA, a group that helps cities all over the world take action on climate change, to create this Climate Action Plan dashboard. Together, we developed this tool that's easy to use and full of great information. This interactive, user-friendly dashboard will allow Cleveland to share regular updates on climate action taking place across our city. The dashboard brings together data on climate pollution, climate action plan goals and objectives, and climate actions into a single platform, making it easier for everyone to track progress towards our climate goals. The platform helps us to report on the implementation of the CAP, helps individuals to see what role they can play in implementing CAP actions, and helps the public to see what progress is being made on this plan. So let's explore the dashboard together. When you come to the dashboard, you will first land on this homepage, which introduces you to the platform. Here, you can select emissions, transitions, or interventions. Emissions refer to greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide and methane, which come from sources and activities across the city each year. The City of Cleveland has tracked greenhouse gases on an annual basis since 2010, and we will continue to report emissions on an annual basis going forward. Transitions form the foundation of Cleveland's Climate Action Plan. These are shifts from activities that produce large amounts of greenhouse gas emissions to activities that produce little to no emissions. These transitions align with the goals and objectives from the CAP. They include clear targets and projected greenhouse gas reductions that will allow us to track our progress over time. One example of a transition is for Cleveland Public Power to get 100% of its electricity from clean energy sources by 2050. Interventions are the policies, projects, initiatives, and commitments to help make this transition happen. Where transitions are the what that Cleveland plans to do, interventions describe the how the city plans to do it. Interventions correspond to actions from the CAP. To find additional information on the dashboard, including definitions of key terms, click on the About box in the upper right-hand corner of the homepage. If you are looking for a specific topic, you can use the search box at the top of the homepage. For example, if you want to find all actions related to bikes, just type bike, and you will quickly see related transitions and interventions. Now let's head to the emissions page, where we can learn more about the sources of climate pollution emissions within the City of Cleveland. As you can see, this page combines information on greenhouse gases across the city from 2010 to 2022, broken down by sector, like transportation and waste. It shows you how emissions have changed since 2010, how emissions will change by 2050 if we do not take additional actions, and how emissions will change by 2050 if we implement all of the actions outlined in the CAP. You may notice that the dashboard uses different acronyms like MMT and MMTCO2E. These acronyms give us a uniform way to share information on emissions of different greenhouse gases, such as carbon dioxide and methane. MMTCO2E, for instance, stands for million metric tons of carbon dioxide equivalent, which is this uniform way of measuring greenhouse gas emissions. If you would like to read more about the greenhouse gas emissions from the City of Cleveland, just click the Show Full Text box at the bottom of this page. You can also dig into emissions from different sectors by clicking on either the colored boxes on the left-hand side of the screen or on the colored wedges in the emissions chart. For example, let's click on stationary energy to get more information on emissions from this sector. As you can see, this brings us to the landing page for the stationary energy sector, subsector. This page includes information on the sources within the sector, how emissions have changed since 2010, and how emissions will change through 2050 if we do or do not implement actions in this area. You will also notice that the sector is broken down into different subsectors, including manufacturing industries, residential, and commercial institutional. If you click on any of these gold boxes, you can dig even deeper into these subsectors. So let's click on residential. The dashboard takes us down another level, providing us with information on historical emissions and projected emissions through 2050 from residential buildings. Once you're done exploring a sector and you'd like to return to the emissions page, just click on the emissions pathway link here at the top of this bar. Next, let's navigate over to the transitions page to learn about the goals and objectives that Cleveland has identified to help us achieve net zero emissions. This page provides information on these goals and objectives, broken down by the 6 CAP focus areas: built energy, built environment, clean energy, clean transportation, circular industry, nature-based solutions, and resilient people. It illustrates projected emission reductions through 2050 associated with the goals and objectives from each focus area. To read more about the city's path to net zero, click the Show Full Text box here at the bottom of the page. You can also dig into the goals and actions from each of these focus areas by clicking on either the tabs on the right-hand side of the page or on the colored wedges in the emissions chart. You may also notice 2 additional wedges that I didn't mention. The first is this yellow electricity wedge, which shows emissions reductions that will occur as the electricity grid becomes cleaner over time due to the transition to clean energy sources. The other one is this light gray remaining emissions wedge. This shows the gap between the city's emissions targets and the projected emission savings that come from the transitions outlined in the plan. You can see that this gap exists here, but then it begins to disappear and eventually disappears completely by 2040, as our actions outlined in the CAP place us on the path to net zero emissions by this point. So let's dig further into one of these focus areas. If we click on clean transportation, the dashboard takes us to the landing page for that focus area. As you can see, again, this page includes information on the different transitions under the clean transportation focus area, along with projected changes in emissions through 2050. Read more about each focus area, like clean transportation. You can click on the Show Full Text box at the bottom of the page. You can also dig even further into the different transitions within each of these focus areas by clicking on either the boxes on the right-hand side of this page or the wedges in the emissions chart. So if we click on personal mobility, for instance, it takes us to a page with the transitions related to individuals, including reducing vehicle miles traveled, or VMT, and shifting to zero emissions passenger cars and trucks. Once you're done with any of these pages, and if you want to return to the transitions page, simply click on the transition pathway link at the top of this bar. One thing, if we click here on the resilient people page, you will see that there are no emissions reductions associated with this focus area. This is because this focus area does not correspond directly to any major sources of climate pollution. Instead, it focuses on how we plan to make Clevelanders more resilient to the impacts of climate change by focusing on climate justice and equity. Next, let's learn more about the 163 actions included in the CAP by navigating to the interventions page. This page provides information on each of these 163 actions. We have classified actions by different kinds. These include commitments, financing interventions, policies, information interventions, projects, research and development, and administrative interventions. We have also listed whether each action needs to be completed, is being completed, or has been completed. If you want to dig further into any action, simply click on its name. This will open a box on the specific action that provides a summary of the action, the type of action, its status, the stakeholders who are responsible for implementing the action, when the action should be complete, a link to read more about the action if available, and the transitions that each action supports. So let's click on the Tree Planting and Maintenance Assistance action, which comes directly from the CAP. To learn more, you'll see that this box opens up with a summary about the action. We click on the About tab. We can see that this is a financial intervention that needs to be implemented. We expect that it will be complete by the end of 2026. And the Cleveland Tree Coalition is the responsible organization. Lastly, if you click on Affected Transitions, you'll see that this action is connected to our goal of increasing Cleveland's tree canopy. To return to the interventions page, click on the arrow at the top right-hand corner of the box, and it will close. That's the last piece of information on how to use the Interventions tab. In addition, we have a written user guide available, which is linked in the description of this video. If you have questions or would like additional information on the Cleveland Climate Action Plan or the Climate Action Plan dashboard, please reach out to the Mayor's Office of Sustainability and Climate Justice at Sustainability, that's SUSTAINABILITY at clevelandohio.gov. Thank you for watching this tutorial on the new Cleveland Climate Action Plan dashboard, and we look forward to working with you to make Cleveland a green city on a blue lake. Thank you.